Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. For the impatient. Part 1. Universal Serial Bus 0087. A man with blonde hair and a red mobile suit who is absolutely not Char Aznable, what are you talking about, asks his space buddies how they like their new toys. Meanwhile, a blue-haired kid skips out on karate practice because reasons, and is promptly slapped for not wanting to beat up other children. Time to slapping, 3 minutes, 9 seconds. The kid gets all pissy when he hears a friend calling his name, which is Camille Bidan, who for reasons which will become apparent later, ranks a strong 0.65 Mikazukis on the actually crazy Gundam protagonist scale. For now. Camille and his friendo drive off to a spaceport to cut classes in space. Except that they're already in space by virtue of living on a space colony, which kinda thwarts the uniqueness of this plan. Camille senses something unusual, which might have to do with the swelling from the earlier slapping. Meanwhile, totally not Char Aznable, how dare you make such slanderous allegations, also gets a funny feeling out in space. Now he thinks this might be because of one of two characters Char and only Char would really know at this point from the first series, but that's clearly a coincidence because this obviously isn't Char. Let's move on. Camille and friend arrive at the spaceport and Camille gets all pissy again, remarking that the ship in dock is piloted by another noted child slapping enthusiast, Bright Noah. Feeling that he has the right to look around for a high-ish ranking military officer whenever he wants, Camille starts looking for Bright for his autograph or something. He bumps into some Titans, a special ops-ish division of Earth Federation forces, which evidently only recruits the kind of people you'd find destroying cheap furniture at tailgate parties for the Buffalo Bills. Camille states his name, and the Titans officer misgenders him. Sufficiently triggered, Camille clenches his fist, turns, and walks away. No? Oh. Well, alright then. You go, kid.
Camille!
You did your best. Still not Char, clearly knock it off you guys, gets inside of the colony and takes pictures of the countryside, and of some big robot that flies past his head. Camille gets confronted for being a pissy brat by another Titans officer. He wisely keeps his mouth shut before he says anything stupid, and a lawyer allows Camille to leave. The Titans officer does a taunting of the kid, which leads to additional punching. Camille is then arrested again. A Gundam comes by to say hello, and Camille runs away, ignoring his mom and stealing government property. He then destroys said government property and thinks about his actions. Quattro, who is still not Char, but this is episode 1 and this joke is already stale, then has his pals on the ship Argama blow a hole in the colony's side, sucking everyone out into the vacuum of space and bringing an end to Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. Except it isn't, because anime. Quattro and company move into the big hole in the side of the colony, which no one seems to notice even though the literal atmosphere that this society relies on for survival is being jettisoned rapidly into the endless, unforgiving void of space, and Quattro starts thinking about those characters from the last show again, even though he's still definitely not Char Aznable. Camille does a running to steal more government property when one of the Mark IIs that isn't embedded in the side of a building tries to help up the one that is, likely causing more structural damage and civilian casualties. Camille gets moody again. Meanwhile, Quattro and his buddies move in to get in on that good old-fashioned grand larceny. Gundam pilot and prime candidate for workplace sensitivity training, Jared Mesa, meets with Emma Sheen, who pulls up in a Jeep and yells at him for trashing a building. Jared dismisses Emma, ignoring what she says about the invading force possibly being from the AEUG. Now, this is where I would like to interject and explain who all is scuffling and posturing in this show so far through these first 5 episodes. There's the AEUG, or AEUG, or Anti-Earth Union Group, the side Quattro, not Char, and company are fighting for, Titans, the elite asshats of the Earth Federation, and the Earth Federation, who don't like the Titans or the AUG very much. Got it? Good. Quattro and company close in on the Gundam Mark II, and an attacking happens. Quattro remarks about how easy it is to damage a colony with great concern, seeming to forget how he and his pals got in here in the first place. Elsewhere, a thumb with goggles watches the battle and thinks that Quattro might be a Char. Camille's dad fantasizes about new robot designs, among other things, as we'll see in an episode or two, and he and the thumb figure out that it must be those AUG guys that want to gather intel on the Mark II. By stealing them, probably. Camille gets into a secure military base because someone left the gate unlocked. He gets stopped by some guys with guns who let him go when they figure out his dad is the one who designed the Mark II. Because that's a plot device that has never happened in any of the other one Gundam series that's come out by this point. Quattro wants the Gundam undamaged, but Emma intends to make that difficult by engaging in a fighting with it. This confuses bright, damaged faces, not robots, Noah, since she's never trained in the Gundam before, at which point Camille calls dibs. He and the other AAUG guys then steal the Gundams because the rest of the series needs to happen. Exposition happens, and Emma and Bright report to the begoggled thumb in command. He executes the rare reverse Bright slap, showing that this is the Titans treehouse and no Brits are allowed here. Bright tries explaining that he has an American voice actor in this dub, and then gets his teeth kicked in. Time to slapping, 18 minutes, 27 seconds. Normal Earth Federation pilot, Lila something or other, confirms with her captain that the ship they've been tracking is one of the AEUGs. Bright slapped Noah reports to Bask, who is the thumb, by the way, who wants him to give a letter to someone. Then gets smacked again, because this workplace is perfectly stable and not at all toxic. Time to slapping, 3 minutes, 18 seconds. We learn that the base Luna 2 has detected a ship that might have the people that stole the Gundams. The thumb removes his goggles, very pleased that one of the thieves is the son of the engineers that worked on said Gundams. Back on the Argama, Camille and the rest of the, for all intents and purposes, space pirates have a talking. After being called away, Four Vaginas is asked if he thinks Camille is a new type, a question he has asked several times in the show as if they know something about him that the audience doesn't and could never guess at this point. Lila goes off and checks on the AEUG vessel. Data analysis happens, and Camille gets a pop quiz on the Gundam's construction. He remarks that the Mark IIs are made in homage to high-end cell phones of the late 2010s and, as such, will be obsolete in about a year. A potential fighting is identified, and evasive action is taken. Camille's parents are led onto the ship Alexandria. On the bridge, the thumb is made aware of this and gets uncomfortably excited. Lots of exposition happens. Everyone is given orders to only open at a certain time. Emma executes hers by giving the terms of negotiation over to the Argama's crew, which amount to give us the robots or the kids' parents die. Bask drives a hard bargain, you see. Another guy checks his orders and finds that he is to destroy a capsule should anyone try to sneak off with it. He assumes it's a bomb. Camille learns that his parents are basically hostages at this point and gets all moody again, taking off in one of the Gundams without thinking about the consequences of his actions. Again. Turns out his mom is actually in the capsule, because the government in this universe takes their negotiating tactics from Dr. Frickin' Robotnik. When Camille approaches the capsule, the Titans guy takes this as an act of aggression. He blows up the capsule, turning Camille's mom into a meat popsicle. A crying happens. A crying continues. Camille attacks the guy that destroyed the capsule, and the guy figures out that the pilot smacking him is the child he misgendered. They engage in melee combat? Time to slapping, 2 minutes, 36 seconds. Jared is very confused, not knowing that there was an innocent civilian in the capsule he just destroyed. Quattro and Emma break up the frankly sad game of happy slaps, and normal Earth Federation Leela happens on the battlefield to remind everyone she exists. She confirms that the green Nadazaku is on the Earth Federation side and attacks the Gundam instead, confusing things further for the audience. Camille resumes frustratedly wailing on the Not Zaku. Layla tries to get further clarification on whose side everyone is on, and Camille continues his tantrum, raising his actually crazy Gundam protagonist rating to an even 7. Quattro has had enough of this and decides to hand over the Gundams, because he read the script and knows that there's a potential deserter in the Titans. With the Gundams aboard the Titans vessel, some engineers force Camille's cockpit door open so he can talk to his dad. He tells his dad that his mom's dead, and Dad doesn't really care because he has a side piece he's more concerned about, you see. Thumbman remarks that this is all actually a good thing for said side piece because he is terrible. Camille is led off to a holding cell where he and Emma encounter Jared, the guy Camille punched in the spaceport in episode 1 and the guy he punched in the mobile suit in episode this one. Jared offers his thoughts and prayers for Camille's mother, then taunts Camille for being upset over something as trivial as a parent dying. Camille shows restraint by throwing verbal barbs instead of more punches, which puts Jared in a tizzy. Man, we're 4 episodes into the show and there's more angst on display than at a Hot Topic back to school sale. Good grief. Later on, Emma breaks Camille and his dad out of prison, his dad also imprisoned at some point, and gets them some new clothes. They proceed to steal the Gundams again as Emma follows her heart instead of the orders of the thumb with goggles. When they arrive, Quattro tells Emma he thinks that she's a spy point blank, while Camille's dad looks at the cool robots they all have. Camille gets moody again. Bask observes that Not Char's suit is a really heckin' good robot right there. On the Argama, Quattro and company have an expositional conversation. Camille's dad yells at the Argama's engineers for not handling their robots properly. He proceeds to lecture them on a tool they're adequately trained in, and they fall for this pretty obvious armed takeover attempt. As such, the spooked engineers hand over a high-end walking tank to the guy, and he goes for a flying. Time to slapping, 6 minutes, 2 seconds. The rest of the crew are informed of what happened, and Quattro takes off on one of the Mark IIs that's been given a new paint job. Camille wants to tag along because he has to get involved with everything come hell or high water, even if one of his robot's arms had come off. Which it had. The Thumb tries to board a different ship when they're alerted of the presence of a new one. The mobile suit team that Jared is on launches for additional fightings, and Camille makes his voice deeper to trick a guard into thinking he's a new pilot in order to take the Gundam out on patrol. This works. He confronts his dad for not hugging him enough and getting busy with a younger girl. This goes on for some time. A stray bullet ends the spat, and Camille's dad is killed. Back on the ship, Camille's still pissy despite his deadbeat dad, which he hated, finally being out of the picture. He laments that even though he got everything he wanted, a cool robot, a sense of purpose, free room and board, all he really wanted was a normal family. Quattro tells him to get over it because that's what Char would do. This backfires. Quattro is scolded. A hysteric crying happens. Roll credits. Build Gunpla. See you next time.